Hi, I'm Alan. This is a video. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to more discussion Geometry Dash. Today, I want to be discussing a little bit about the importance of a good mindset when it comes to GD, because as you guys know, I'm going for a new hard design. I'm going for Hard Machine, and it has given me a lot of questions about different things, and a lot of people have been asking me a bunch of stuff, and it's been making me think a lot about the mindset that one has going into hard levels, especially. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about why having a good mindset is so detrimental to one's experience, and why you should kind of like trick yourself almost into having a great mindset when going into things, just so that you can have a better experience. And one of the things that makes me think that this is something that you can do is the fact that I enjoyed things like Base Cave, and the entire reason why I enjoyed Base Cave was mindset. So I want to like go into this video, bring up some points, talk a little bit about it, give my thoughts and opinions on it, give my perspective on mindset as a whole, and try and like give you pointers on how you can like trick yourself into thinking things that you normally wouldn't. I don't know, maybe we'll see what happens. I just wanted to bring this up because obviously going for a new hardest, there's a lot of like mental strain going for something, especially as hard as that. It takes a really long time, and I've already spent almost longer on Hard Machine than I have on any other level. The only level that has taken longer is Rust, which didn't really take me much longer than I've currently been on Hard Machine, even if the first month or so of Hard Machine was just me playing it on my own for like 45 minutes a day. But still, I do think that there is a lot of things to be discussed within this topic, and that's what we're doing today. So if you guys like this kind of stuff and enjoy the discussion videos, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and hit the like button. If we get like, I don't know, 5,000 likes or something, then I know that you guys appreciate these kinds of things. Anyway, let's get into the first couple points. Now, the first thing that I think is very important when it comes to like having a good mindset is don't go into a level expecting a specific experience. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the time people will go into a level and they're going to be like, oh, I'm very confident with this, I'm going to take like a week, and then it goes over a week, and once you hit that week threshold, the subconscious experience expectation that you set yourself is going to start tearing down on you. If you go into a level thinking that, okay, I'm going to take like a week, I'm going to take like 5 days, 6 days, whatever, and once you meet that threshold, that is a very arbitrary amount of time that you decided that's how long it's going to take, it will start affecting you mentally, where you're like, wow, I suck at this, I'm terrible, I suck at this damn game, I should just quit, right? If you set yourself like, okay, yeah, it's gonna take a week, then damn, it took a week and you still haven't beaten it, you must be terrible, right? No, it's just some form of like arbitrary thing that you decided that's how long it will take, and now that's like your entire reason to hate yourself for it. And why should you? Experiences are so random in a sense. I know that there are a lot of people who do not believe that luck exists within GD. However, there are so many like random external factors that play into how you will perform. Like, oh, suddenly you had like a test coming up that you didn't realize, and then it will take you 2 days to go for that test and you can't really play, and up there goes 2 more days of your play time, and then suddenly you have less time than you thought. But because of the subconscious idea that, okay, I'll beat it by this day next week or something, because you set yourself a week, then it will still affect you in that way. And then other things can pop in, like, oh, you suddenly die a lot to it. Like, a part of the reason why I, for instance, struggled with SPL and I just didn't enjoy SPL was because after progress fluking from 70 to 98, I was like, okay, I'll beat it pretty soon then, probably, right? I already got 98. I'm close to beating it, right? That expectation, for my experience, just beating it soon afterwards because I managed to do it once, was really silly because, well, obviously that didn't happen. Why? Because it was a progress fluke. It was stupid of me to think that. So going into a level with specific expectations for how you will experience a level can never be smart. A lot of the time when I've had really terrible experiences, in hindsight, I do still like the level, right? A lot of people are like, oh, Aeon hates Titan Complex. Titan Complex is like the worst level ever because I had a terrible experience with it. I hated it then and there, but that was because I had the expectation that I was going to have a decent time with it. And then after I was getting lucky, I was like, I'll beat it soon anyway, it doesn't matter. And then I just kept dying to the end. And that expectation made me really miserable in the moment. Afterwards, I realized that, okay, it's not that bad. I just kind of like failed. So what I usually do now, and the thing that I do when I go into a level is, I don't know, I'll take however long I feel like I'm not playing the level to beat it within a certain time frame. I want to just beat the level. When I go into a level, I'm like, I'll beat it whenever. I have the capabilities to beat it. I'm confident that I will be able to beat it. I just don't know how long it will take. I'll just beat it. I don't beat the level to set records. I beat the level for my own personal achievement. Go into a level, no expectations, just think that, hey, I'm gonna beat the level. Now, the next one I think is the most important one in a way, and it is what other people say about a level will have a subconsciously significant effect on how you view a level. Very, very popular at this point to mock me for having the worst opinions ever because I had fun with Base Cave and Necromancer and stuff like Sword Dance, right? But the reason why was because everyone and their mother was like, oh, these are the worst levels ever created, so they're terrible. So I went into the levels being like, everyone says they're shit, so they're probably gonna be shit. And then they weren't nearly as terrible as people made it out to be. People made it out to sound like those levels were the absolute worst worst of the worst, to the point where if you play it for more than 5 minutes, you will punch a hole in your monitor, and that's just not the case. I went into them thinking, okay, they're going to be terrible because everyone thinks they're going to be terrible, and I just ended up having a very average time with them, and having that average time with them made me actually kind of like them. Really, Necromancer, I always just said Necromancer is a very average level because it's not terrible, it's not good, it's not bad, but everyone said that it was terrible, so it might just be bad, but because everyone said it was bad, extremely hyperbole, I was thinking it would be much worse than it was. But that also has like the opposite effect, in where if people say a level is absolutely fantastic, you might end up absolutely hating it because you went into a level thinking it's going to be the most fun thing in the whole world, and then you play it and it's like, wow, that's awful. I call this the Accu effect because everyone hyped up Accu very early on when it just came out, calling it the most fun level ever, and then people go into it thinking that this is going to be the most fun level ever, and then just end up disappointed because it's not the most fun thing that I've ever played. It's just a good level, but because people said it was amazing and not just good, people just end up disliking it heavily because it's not the expectation that they had. And I think that goes for any form of level. If someone says a level is average, you expect an average level, and then you're gonna be like, hey, that's cool, that's fun, I like that, or wow, that was just very bad, right? So while it's very hard to like try and level out what subconscious idea you have of a level before going into it, I would try and think that, okay, I would always just go to the opposite end of like the extreme. Find people who hate the level and figure out why they hate the level. And once you figure out why they hate the level, you can go in with the expectation that those things are going to be bad, so that you most likely won't. It's like a mental trick, right? You mentally fool yourself to believing that the level is much worse than it is because of what a few people said. Go watch videos of people who absolutely hated Accu. I don't know how you would find those videos, but you know, and then just read about what they thought was terrible. The same goes for any other level as well. If you want to go for like Bloodlust or something like that, if you're really good at the game, just look at what people said who absolutely hated the level and just understand why they hated it, and then just expect that, okay, I'm gonna have the same experience. Like the swing copter at like 43 or whatever, I don't remember. That part, everyone hates that part. Just be like, okay, yeah, that's gonna be a terrible part. And then you go into it and just, it's easier to comprehend and like overcome that hurdle because of the fact that you knew from the get-go that it was gonna be terrible. The absolute worst thing in the world is just expecting a level to be good and then experiencing choke points and awkwardness. That was my experience with Sync. Everyone was like, oh, dude, Sync is so good. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this is fun when I was just practicing it. And then it just got really obnoxious and really annoying because of the fact that it was just choke point, right? If I would have just gone out of my way to look at what people had said and people had commented on those choke points, I wasn't the only one who experienced those choke points. I would have probably had a much better time. So keep in mind what people say about levels and try not to just consume people's opinions who are like to the extreme positive, because there will always be extreme positives and extreme negatives. There's no level that's like absolutely perfect in that sense, right? So just, I don't know, just figure out what people dislike about the level as well. It will just subconsciously make your expectations for the level a little bit lower, which then again makes it so that most likely your experience is going to be a little bit better, because the worse you think a level is going to be, the more average it turns out to be. Unless it's a Thanatos. I was like, oh dude, a Thanatos is going to suck, and then it sucked. So the next one I feel like is obvious. Do not set expectations that you cannot realistically achieve. The only thing I had to say is that if you go into a level and you're like, I'm going to make 50% progress today, and then you make 20%, you're just going to be disappointed and it's just going to tear on you. A lot of people are like, oh dude, top players are like the most negative bitches on the planet because we just continuously punch down on ourselves. That's because we expect really high results very quickly, like super high expectations really quickly. The reason why I've been like not demotivated with Hard Machine, but that's like a whole different story, was because I made 49% day one from 0. Been 2 weeks, haven't made progress since, right? I got that 49%, and then after that, my expectations skyrocketed. I was like, oh dude, I'm gonna make a new best in like 3 days. I'm gonna get 54. I'm gonna get to 70s within like a week, right? That was like a subconscious thing because I progress fluked from 29 to 49, and then that didn't happen. And it's just expectations that I cannot realistically achieve. And the same goes for a lot of other people. Like I see people on Twitch all the time, like insert whatever level they're working on, new hardest or something, 44%. Today's the day? And I'm like, no, it's not. It is not. Today is not the day. Unless you like have the most insane fluke of your life, it's not today. Not happening. You just have to like be realistic about what you think you can achieve. Like my goals for my streams now with Hard Machine is just, I'll be fine with getting 51% or 54. 100% A-okay. 3% progress. It's 2% progress or it's 5% progress. It's not that much, but it's realistic, right? Something I can achieve. And the same goes for any other thing that you're playing. Just be realistic. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe in your abilities to do stuff and achieve stuff. I'm just saying that you should also not set your expectations too high. Like, I can't be like, oh, I'm gonna beat this extreme in like 2 days. Usually when I pick up a new extreme, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat it in like a week, even though I know that I'm skilled enough to beat easy extremes in like a day, right? But it's just so if I get absurdly unlucky with something, I wouldn't be disappointed with it. Like, I'll be a little bit disappointed regardless, but that's just the nature of it. Like, if I get unlucky with something, I'll get unlucky with something, and it's gonna be disappointing. But I'm not gonna beat myself over the fact that I got really unlucky with something and didn't beat it in like 3 hours. So don't be unrealistic. Be realistic. It's pretty simple, honestly. The next one, it was very recent for me to like have this like epiphany almost, and it was while talking to Varian, because I was like, ah, dude, my hard machine session today was awful. I sucked ass at it, right? And he was like, but look at the smaller progress that you made. Pay attention to small progress. And I was like, you're right. I was getting much better at 32 to 43, which is like the part that I've struggled with the most. Like, I didn't get a lot of good runs. I was trying to practice 32 to 55 over and over again, but I couldn't really do Shalom, which is the UFO spam, and it was just getting annoying. But I got 32 to 46 like all the time. It was like a consistent thing that I was getting almost the entire way through. That gaining consistency in that part that I'd been struggling with was something I didn't notice, because my goal was to get 32 to 55s, not 32 to 46. But my consistency with 32 to 46 was significantly improving, which is something I didn't really notice until he told me. And I was like, that's really true, actually. I should just start noticing those small things as well. And the next day I was like, oh, I'll just practice the end of it. And I got a lot more consistent with 54, which is like an absurdly hard part. I went out of my practice sessions while I didn't make any like big runs or like any like super massive progress like I had wanted to. I'd made small progress with parts that I was previously very much inconsistent with. And those kind of things help you not feel like you're wasting your time. I find it, at least. Maybe that's just a me thing though. But I do think that you should try and pay attention to like smaller things. Having trouble with one part and you get a little bit more consistent with that part, that's a win, especially if you're going for a new hardest. Just small inconsistency gain. Now the next part is probably like one of the most mentally demanding parts, and it is the not giving up when you reach the I'll beat it at any point threshold. And what I mean by this is it's very easy to just give up and not believing that you're able to do it once you hit like the 80-90% mark, and you just continuously die, and you spend like a week or two in the 90s on a level, and you're like, damn, there's no reason for me to continue going. I usually think that the I can beat it at any point time is achieved when you have like massive overlapping runs. You have it in 2 runs, you have insane overlap. For instance, with me with Rust, it was like I had 90% for like 3 weeks before I beat the level. I had gotten past 90 multiple times, and I had 18 to 100, right? It was an insane overlap. I could literally beat it at any point. It was just a matter of just continuously doing it. Like, sure, dying late into the level still sucks. Like, you can't like be you can't fake it and be like, oh, it's fine, it's okay to die at 96 for the 43rd time, right? But at the same time, you kind of just have to realize that you will be able to beat it. You just have to keep playing it. And while it's always healthy to just like stop playing once you start losing a little bit of consistency, there are so many people who just give up on levels after they reach like 80%, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm just like grinding with no sign of being able to beat it. But you are close. You're really close. You are going to be able to beat it. You just have to keep going. There's a reason why I rarely ever give up on levels, because I know that I'll be able to beat them. Sure, not every level is fun to do once you get to that point, but you started playing it for the achievement anyway. You started playing the level because you wanted to beat the level, so why give up? I usually sit down and think that, okay, yeah, I've been stuck on 90 for a while now. As long as I just keep playing, I'll get it eventually, right? Basically, what I'm trying to say is just don't stop once you reach a certain point. It's not necessarily the most fun always, but I feel like you would feel much worse about yourself if you just end up giving up. Just try your best to keep going. The way that I think about it, and the way I did it with like Sonic Wave especially, which was absolutely brutal mentally, was if I get annoyed now and if I start getting angry at the mistakes that I'm making, I'll just keep making those mistakes. And I think that's a mindset that has helped me a lot. Like afterwards, Sonic Wave taught me that very well, where if I just get annoyed now, I'm just going to continuously die to that same thing. And while I still do get annoyed with stuff like that occasionally, it's just like try your best to be like, to breathe and just be like, okay, yeah, no, I died to it, but I will keep dying to it if I keep getting angry at it. And it's a practice thing. You just have to practice and you'll get it eventually. And the last thing I want to talk about is completely irrelevant. All of these have been like for specific levels. This last point is more about other difficulties. I've been like, oh dude, these levels are so fun recently with easy demons. Like I've not disliked a single easy demon for a really long time. And the reason why is because I realized that I play easy demons for a different reason. I don't necessarily play easy demons for the achievement of beating the levels. I just kind of like play them to appreciate the levels themselves. I just kind of like play them to look at them and be like, oh, hey, that's a cool level. It looks cool. It has funny looking gameplay or whatever. So I just kind of like play the levels and beat them for a whole different reason than achievement. You don't necessarily have to beat stuff for achievement. Like you don't have to beat 6 stars to gain stars or whatever, unless you're a star grinder, but that's besides the point. But you kind of like play them because they look cool. And that's what I do with easy demons. Like I don't beat easy demons to beat easy demons. Like sure, I want my demon count to grow, but that's about it. But I play them and I think those are cool levels and I have a lot more fun with them. I just kind of like don't care about actually beating them. I just kind of like want to enjoy the visuals and I want to enjoy the like flow of it. And I think that's helped me appreciate the levels a lot more now than before. So try and have like a different outlook on why you're playing things, especially with easier difficulties. Like if your hardest is a medium demon, think that way with like 5 stars and 6 stars. You're gonna enjoy them a lot more than you currently are. Anyway, this video probably is much longer than I expected it to be, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a decent time just like trying to explain myself with mindset. Hopefully it helps some of you guys with a little bit more. Tell me what you guys think. And I probably missed a couple of points that I just never thought much about. So if you have anything else to add to this, please leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. But anyway, I'll see you guys around. Eat your greens, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Thank you for making my day better. Hoping yours a little bit better too. Peace out, everyone.